What exactly is the BMI? How exactly do we determine our goal weight? Do we just know when we get there? Or, what is the science behind it? What is the research behind it? Questions I personally had were, is the BMI outdated? Is it still useful? Why do some people think that it is flawed? Let's get into it. What is a BMI? BMI stands for Body Mass Index. It's simply a calculation using your height and weight. That's all it is. It doesn't measure body fat percentage, muscle mass, bone density, where you carry fat on your body, fitness level, and overall metabolic health. BMI does not track any of those things. BMI is basically a screening tool, not a complete health assessment. According to BMI categories, under 18.5 is underweight, 18.5 to 24.9 is considered normal weight, 25 to 29.9 is considered overweight, 30 plus is obesity. So why do doctors still use it? It's fast, it's free, it's easy to calculate, it's useful to study millions of people across populations. The other reason they use it is that research shows that people usually and typically with a higher BMI are more at risk for type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, heart disease, fatty liver disease. That doesn't mean that every individual with a higher BMI is unhealthy, though. It simply means that the risk gets higher when looking at larger groups of people. So in my mind, I just feel like that's so hard. They use it as a tool to measure large groups of people, but we are individuals. So I think in my determination is I really think that we need to take it with a grain of salt and really be looking at all the other ways to determine health. So many people criticize the BMI because it doesn't measure the difference between fat and muscle. It doesn't tell you where fat is stored, like I said before. It doesn't account for age. Typically, people lose more muscle mass as they age, and it doesn't reflect people's individual differences. Genetics, ethnicity, body frame, and gender can all influence how BMI relates to health. So looking at it another way too, for example, somebody with a higher BMI could have all the normal, good markers of health, have really great fitness level. They could have, the correct proportions on their body, have a small amount of body fat, but a high amount of muscle mass. They could have excellent cardiovascular fitness and just an overall healthy lifestyle. And then at the same time, someone with a low BMI or a considered normal weight, those people could have a very high body fat percentage compared to muscle mass. And they could already have these conditions: diabetes, hypertension, high visceral fat, which is something we haven't talked about, poor nutrition, and very little physical activity. So it's so individualized. And that's why I wanted to deep dive into this, because I just think that a lot of us on our weight loss journeys are, however we're doing our weight loss journey, whether that be diet and exercise alone, whether we're doing it with the help of a GLP-1, however we're doing it, in the end, the result is going to be the same, or the goal is going to be the same. So there are a lot of other indicators that we should be looking at instead of BMI. So I'm going to rattle those off right now: waist circumference, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, A1C, triglycerides, fitness level, muscle mass, sleep quality, nutrition, mental health, physical activity, and family history. When you combine all of those together, you're going to get a much better picture of someone's overall health. So moving back to my personal journey again. So me being on a GLP-1, having already lost 30 pounds, recently I've just kind of been in a interesting headspace, because ideally, like according to the BMI chart, the higher end of normal for my height would be right around 160 pounds. I'm thinking, like, for me now, I'd like to be, considered normal when I go to the doctor, but at the same time, I don't want to be chasing a number like unhealthfully. All these other factors are so much more important to me. My overall fitness level, that is something that a goal of mine that I really want to do, an assessment of my fitness now versus, in 2 months, 4 months, 6 months from now, after I've lost the 30 pounds, that I feel like I can do a lot more physically, that I can do a push-up. I can do, way more squats. I have a lot more endurance, and I may even be able to run. That was a huge goal of mine before I started this journey. So those are all things that are more important to me, my fitness level, than necessarily chasing a number on the scale. I still think I have some weight to lose. So it's just that strange feeling in the middle where it's like, I've already accomplished so much, but it's like, how much further do I want to go? I want to do it the healthiest way possible. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. How did you determine what your goal weight is going to be or was, if you've already gone through this process? The BMI, I take it into kind of that long list of things that we went over earlier. It's just one measure. It's not the end all be all, but I think for a little bit of my journey, I was more focused on, I really want to get into that normal bracket. And I very well may in the future. This for me is not a race. This is a lifestyle change. And I know that, there are a lot of opinions on GLP-1s. Some people are completely against them. Some people are all about them. And, if either way, you have to do your research. You can't go in blindly. You have to know the side effects. You have to know what you're getting into if you are starting this medication. And your provider, your doctor should be explaining all of this to you prior to starting. But I know in some cases that doesn't always happen. So definitely do your research if you are exploring going and taking that medication. Again, I have had success on it. I've had some side effects. I've talked about them before. And everybody's different with what kind of side effects they have, what's manageable for them, what's not manageable for them. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, how do I feel? Do I have more energy? Can I walk up the steps without getting winded? Are your joints hurting less? Are you sleeping better? Are your health markers improving? Your lab work? Is your blood pressure improving? Your A1C improving? Is your cholesterol and triglycerides improving? Is your liver healthier if you had problems before? Has your waist circumference decreased? That mine has definitely decreased. I wish I had taken measurements, but I didn't. I focused more on the scale and pictures. I thank the Lord that I took pictures, because you cannot, kind of going back to the whole point of this video, is like only concentrating on the number on the scale, and that number, it just is so arbitrary in the grand scheme of things. So if you are just starting or haven't started yet, I would highly recommend taking your measurements. What I may do is when I do my fitness assessment, just take my measurements then. And like I said, I still have about 20, 25 pounds I still want to lose. At least I think I do. This whole video is kind of helping me parse out what are my goals, but I have a long, way to go. And the thing is that this is not your goal weight. That's not necessarily an endpoint anyway. That's something I've been learning too, is this is a lifestyle change. This is for the rest of your life. So it's, you can't just get to your end goal and then say, okay, I'm done. And then what? You know what I mean? What are your plans to maintain, still improve your fitness level, pivot to another goal, things like that. It's just things to think about, not to overwhelm you or, get overwhelmed, but these are just things to think about. It's a healthy lifestyle change. It's not, I'm going to lose 10 pounds so I can go to this event. It's not, I can, let me lose 30 pounds for my wedding. I mean, I know a lot of people do that, but I don't know that that's very healthy either. And I want you to make, healthy choices for yourself. So another great point, and kind of what I was just touching on, can you maintain that goal weight? Do you have to eat 1,000 calories less than you would to either maintain or get to that point? Are you getting to that number in an unhealthy way. That isn't healthy long term. It could even not be healthy short term. You could have some outcomes there that may not be good. A realistic goal weight is one you can maintain while still enjoying your life. Another great point too is kind of to consider, this is something I went through too, where you don't want to forget your personal history, but you also need to take into consideration multiple factors. So I've looked back on pictures so many times because I've tried to lose weight so many times in my life. And probably in the last 10 years, I would say, because I'm 41 now. So the 30s were a challenge. And then, these early 40s, was when I got to, this point where I wanted to lose the weight, right? So I would look back on pictures when, I was in high school, I was in my 20s, other periods of time when I was at a lower weight. Comparing myself when I'm 40, 41 to when I was in high school, I don't know that adds up. Maybe you weighed 135 pounds in high school. It doesn't automatically mean that 135 should be your goal weight now in your 40s. Our bodies naturally change with, aging, pregnancy, perimenopause, menopause, and just different life experiences. And for the men, I know that doesn't apply, but, different, stressors in your life, factors in your life have all changed since you were in your 20s. Sometimes chasing, that old number can kind of hold us back from the healthy version of ourselves that we can be now. I would love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions on BMI, how you determine goal weight, just any suggestions so that we can all help each other. If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you watching. Please consider subscribing. I'm still on this GLP-1 journey, still on this weight loss journey. My overall goal is just overall healthy lifestyle, improving my fitness, and just healthy aging overall. And my final thoughts on this, for me personally, and even for you, I think a goal weight should be flexible. I think it should be within a 10-pound range. So for me, I'm going to kind of put it out there between 160 and 170. It should be a weight where you feel strong, your labs look good, you can move your body comfortably, you're eating in a way that's sustainable, you're enjoying your life, and you aren't constantly battling your body for that number on the scale. For me, I would rather stay in that 10-pound goal range for the rest of my life. And just, if I do fluctuate within that little 10-pound marker, than have to keep going up and down like I have. I would rather do that than hit an ideal number on the scale. I hope this helped. Thank you for watching. And again, if you're interested in weight loss, skincare and makeup over 35, fashion after weight loss, deep dives into health topics like this, please consider subscribing and watch this next video.